I believe this is day 5. Yeah, because it's the 5th of February. Today is day 5 of a 28-day series that I'm doing for mindfulness talks and mental wellness chats on this channel. So, today's topic is Black Joy. And this topic is, I think, it can get a little complex for me because I think throughout all the history, this is Black History Month as well, throughout all the history of Black people, Black and brown people, but Black people specifically, it has been amazing that we're still here. I mean, but it just goes to the awesomeness. It just goes to say of the awesomeness of Black people prevailing through all the things that we've gone through because we've been able to stick together, build our own communities, build our own businesses, have our own support systems, and to help keep each other afloat. So, if you don't know, my name is Lauren, and I am a yoga teacher, yoga and meditation teacher, and I have had a lot of life experiences, to say the least, in different fields and aspects. But in this aspect, I have I have enjoyed talking about mental health and wellness, how to stay mindful when you're anxious, how to stay calm when you're anxious, and how to make that a daily practice through using tools like yoga and meditation and other things. However, on this channel, that's what I like to do. I like to talk about yoga and meditation, but also mindful living and just more how to be more self-aware. So I have 4 talking points for today. If you have enjoyed the past 4 days of the live streams, give this one a thumbs up so that I know you enjoy it, and so I can keep making videos like this. If you're also watching on the replay, let me know what is your favorite topic or talking point or part of the live stream that you enjoyed while watching this. So let's get into today's topic: is Black Joy. What is it? If you have a definition that you like, definitely type it in the chat below. For me, it's like throughout your whole life as a Black person, and everything that you've seen, like the way that systemically Black people are treated, and we have like we have somewhere down the line adopted this mindset that because we are oppressed, because we are the minority, almost everywhere that we go, there's this, I would say, pity, or not pity, but we also see ourselves in that way. Like, we also see ourselves as the minority, as the the people who we deserve to bear all of the hardships that we have, or we don't deserve it, but because we still have it, we feel bitter about it. We feel like, everyone is always out to get us, and that we can't ever get ahead because there's always some part of the system that is inhibiting us, as a people, to get ahead, and there's no one who's going to help us do that but us, right? Because of that, there's definitely a lack of joy in the Black community. There's this weight or burden on us always, but the counteracting feeling to that, or the counteracting, yeah, I would just say feeling to that, or belief about that, is to have joy in the midst of situations that are traumatizing, are unfair, are unjust. And that can be difficult for us to do sometimes, because it's it's kind of like when you're trying to climb on a treadmill and you're taking one step and you're taking like 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, and then the treadmill starts going faster. Then you start trying to walk faster. Then, as you're walking faster, the treadmill's just picking up speed. Sometimes that's how I feel like life is. Life can be for Black and brown people. It's kind of like every time we try to get ahead with something, we try to move something forward, something else pushes us back. And it's not us because we want to help us, and we try our best doing so, but it's just feel like sometimes it's always something. So in the midst of it always being something, how do we allow that to make us feel? And we're always allowed to feel some type of way about it: hurt, upset, angry. I often feel angry, and I often feel like I don't have a lot of places to put that anger, because in especially in places of work, when you know that there are current events going on, the current events going on around the world, yeah, not just like even in the US, but like literally around the world, it's sometimes too much. Like I literally, you literally have to take breaks off of social media, because you cannot be every day just scrolling on social media, not knowing what you're gonna see, because social media and the current news, not that I like watch the news over and over again, but if you're on social media, you can't help but get away from the news. And if you're consuming that a lot, there's no way that the things in the news and the media are not going to make you angry, are not going to make you so freaking tired, and are not going to make you upset. And I'm tired of feeling upset. I'm tired of feeling angry. I'm tired of feeling frustrated. So the first thing that I do when I feel like that, and I feel like the cause of that is looking at the news, looking at the social media. I don't need to be looking at it all the time. So sometimes I just turn it off and try my best to stay off my phone. But my first point is that Black joy, or joy in general, is a way to have thankfulness and reframe. You reframe your brain. Reframe your brain from thoughts of no hope to thoughts of things are only gonna get worse. From the thoughts of like every time I try to get ahead, something pulls me back. You know, if you're having those type of thoughts, then joy is an option. And joy to me isn't just like a feeling that you wait to come. Joy to me is like a choice. And the way that we choose it is not only having joyful thoughts, or maybe like it's saying affirmations. Affirmations like I can't even think of affirmations right now. Whatever affirmations come to your mind, or journaling, or it's not just doing those activities, but it's also reframing the way your brain thinks about having no hope for society, having no hope for events moving forward, that they're going to get better. But it's literally choosing in the present moment to first accept how things are right now, not even in the future, just right now. Say, things are the way that they are. Whatever is happening on the outside of the world, I'm going to have my bubble of joy here, and nothing on the outside is ever going to be able to penetrate that bubble of joy, because I'm deciding to keep it for myself. And like I said, for me, what that looks like is cutting off social media, first of all, doing things or incorporating things into my routine that help me focus on the present moment, that help me focus on the fact that right now, currently, if I'm in my house and I'm just scrolling and I get triggered by something, I've just allowed whatever triggered me to take my joy away. Because before then, I had some type of peace, some type of nothing was on my mind. But after that, I allowed something to come from the outside and disturb my peace for that time. However, I can choose to turn that off and tune that out. Get on my mat, get on my yoga mat, or sit down and tune everything else out and focus on my breath. And that joy for me is found in present moment awareness, which is just realizing in the present moment nothing is harming me in my space. If I just keep my bubble of joy here and then everything else, I just, when it tries to penetrate or disturb my joy, I just block it out for that moment. And we can't get away from the outside news, the outside circumstances, things that come up, because things in life will come up. But joy is knowing that you have the option to choose how things disturb you from day to day. So, yeah, my first point is that, excuse me, joy, joy is a way to have thankfulness. And then my second point is that joy can show up as physical things that you do in the body to calm your nervous system. So, for example, it can show up as finding ease in your shoulders. If you notice that your shoulders are hunched up like this, you're probably worrying about something in your brain, in your mind. If you're noticing you're like this, then just find some ease in your shoulders and just relax your shoulders. Then once you relax your body, your mind will follow. Another way that joy can show up physically in the body is breathing through your diaphragm or practicing mindful breathing throughout the day. Maybe it looks like setting reminders on your phone to notify you every hour or every 2 hours to take 5 deep intentional breaths. That way you can recenter whatever you're thinking about. If you're at work, whatever you're doing, just stop. Because if you are feeling stressed, if you're feeling not joyful, and if you're not focused on the present moment that calms you, you can just stop what you're doing, honor that reminder to breathe. Then wherever you are, you can close your eyes or you can keep your eyes open, and then just put your hand on your belly, then just take 5 breaths. Then keep going until you take 5 intentional, long, deep breaths. Then allow that to be a reset for your brain. Allow that to be a reset for your mood. If you weren't joyful at the time, if you were stressed, anxious, or you just were maybe even neutral, allow those 5 breaths to reset you. And then another thing that joy can look like, you can move toward joy at least, is by softening the jaw. One response to stress or worry or concern. Why am I yawning so much? The one response that we often have to stress, anxiety, or just worry or concern is clenching the jaw, pushing your teeth together, and just doing this. But if you start to find softness in your jaw, you can set reminders throughout the day to, just like we talked about, softening the shoulders. Another way is softening the jaw. So set reminders throughout the day to soften your jaw. Literally remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth, unclench your jaw, and just find relaxation in your face. Because facial expressions have a lot to do with how we're feeling emotionally. So your facial expressions, like a lot of the times people tell me that I'm making faces that I don't know that I'm making. So one main facial expression I know that I make is something with my eyebrows like this or this. So eyebrows also can carry a lot of stress around this area on your forehead. That's why people often get wrinkles. So another way you can move towards joy with your face is softening your face. I kind of have a neutral facial expression right now. That doesn't mean that I feel neutral, but you're just changing the way that your body is responding to the stimulus around you can change the way that your mind thinks about the emotions that you're having. So, for example, okay, if I put my hands in my pockets right now while I'm talking, my brain subconsciously shifts from actively talking and being passionate about what I'm talking about to, oh, what I'm saying isn't that important. That's what my brain does just because I switched from talking with my hands to putting my hands in my pocket. So, if you become aware of what your body's doing, then your brain follows suit. Another example is there's some research around, I don't know the statistics, but there's some research around saying that if you smile, it like instantly starts to bring serotonin into your body. Serotonin is our happy hormone or our mood boosting hormone. So if you need to remind yourself to smile, literally, I know it's kind of cheesy, but it actually works. So sometimes throughout the day, I make myself laugh, not by looking at anything funny particularly, but maybe by remembering my own funny experience or kind of role playing in my head with somebody who's a funny person because I'm kind of actually funny, I think. Somebody who's a funny person, and then, they're telling a joke, and I just tell myself a joke in my head, and then I might make myself laugh just so I can laugh and just so I can actually smile. But actually, smiling boosts your serotonin physically in your body. So, yes, my third point is that survival mode often teaches us how to quickly move past joy. On day on day 2, we talked about survival versus safety. What is survival? What is survival mode? Well, to me, it's kind of like being in fight or flight mode. You're like, have you ever felt this feeling of, I felt it. Have you ever felt this feeling of you're going through the motions? Your body's moving, but your brain is somewhere else. That's called dissociation. However, dissociation is very common in survival mode, but there's just this general knowing that you're not actively present with what you're doing because you're in survival mode. You're not flowing. You're just going, 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 going. And we're not meant to go, 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 go. We're meant to flow. I wish I could pop lock, but I can't really. I have to practice. Well, we're meant to flow. We're not meant to go. But survival mode is when we go, 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 go. And that often teaches us to quickly ignore what we're feeling, ignore our stress and anxiety and our worry, because we have an not ulterior motive, but we have current priorities that aren't maybe the most healthy priorities. We often worry about pleasing other people or sticking to our promises to other people, to our boss, to our families, to our spouses, and prioritizing other people's other people rather than prioritizing us. So, in which ways are we ignoring the opportunities to have more joy in our life by prioritizing other things than ourselves? And then the last point that I have is that joy should be rhythmic, not, it shouldn't be a rarity. It should be a rhythmic, daily thing that we practice. This reminds me of yesterday's topic of day 4. We talked about how the body is, that you should listen to the body instead of pushing the body. And yesterday I remember talking about how rhythms in the body regulate our nervous system. Therefore, rhythms in the body regulate our mood as well. What I mean is, like, our body flows in a rhythm, in patterns. Everything that's natural is a rhythm. Everything that has life breathes. Breath is a rhythm. Breath is a movement. It's a constant. That's a rhythm. And that's like the rhythm that indicates life. The symbol of life is our breath. That's a rhythm. Another example of a rhythm that keeps us alive, that keeps us flowing, is our heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. That's also a rhythm. Everything that flows, that's natural, it flows and it's rhythmic. And so with how we move, we should be rhythmic, and we should be not ignoring the patterns, the natural patterns in life, but going with the flow of the natural patterns. And once we allow ourselves to flow and not go, 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 then we get better at being more in tune with our bodies, being more in tune with our mind, and finding more joy. We definitely find more joy when we get into the rhythm of life. So, yeah, those are my points. The first one is that joy is a way to have thankfulness. The second one is that joy can show up by physical responses in the body, such as easing up the shoulders, or unlocking your jaw, or breathing with intention. And then the third one, survival mode often teaches us to move quickly, and you want to flow. You don't want to go, go, go. And then the fourth one is that joy should be a rhythm. Just like everything that has life, like our breath, our body, and our heartbeat, all of those are rhythms. We should all be rhythmic, going with the rhythms of life. And while we're doing that, we find more joy in the rhythms of life, not in the hustle and bustle of everything that's going on around us. So let's try to retract our energy from worrying so much about the outside world, things that are chaotic and non-rhythmic, because those things are always going to be there. But if we find enough time in the day to pay attention to our breath, our body, our natural body's rhythms, and make sure that those things, all of those things, are at the right cadence. Those things are at a pace that is healthy for our body and helping regulate our nervous system, then we can move towards more joy in life. So I hope this live stream was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, if you're watching on replay, especially, give it a thumbs up. It definitely helps me get out there, and it helps other people also find out about my live streams as well. This is only day 5 of 28 days of going live. So I appreciate all of you for sticking with me and tuning in. and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.